Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It's a quick turnaround, but we are back here at Online Darts for the live lounge, Monday, 8 p.m. And the boys are back in town. Boise sunning himself. It's an important one. It's the Betfred World Matchplay. So Jar's back for a night. Good evening, boys.
Christ, we'll let anyone in these days, won't we?
It's very 2020 of us, this, isn't it?
How are we all doing?
What's going on? I thought you'd dig the old titles out, Barzy.
To that, I don't know where the old ones are, to be fair. Plus, I really like the new groovy music we found. And seeing that it was absolute carnage with everything going on, trying to get ready for this was tough. Just whacking Ali that shirt on. Normally we put a collar on and look semi-smart on this show. Not tonight. It's been a long day.
I thought, well, you know me. I thought the rule was nowadays it's branding only, isn't it? So I assumed that's what we wanted, isn't it?
Well, yeah. Can you not see my badge? It's a new white one. It's camouflage.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome along, and those that have spent 6 hours with us on the stream and that are back here as well. What an effort from all of you! What a shift! But boys, the race for the match play didn't disappoint. It went down to the final day, and what an absolute brutal draw. But first, I have hammered the PDC on many occasions for this, so I feel it's only right to congratulate them. How effing good was it to have a live draw? We had a blooper at the beginning when they put the wrong name up, and it was just that's how draws should be done. So, look, we hammer them when it's pre-recorded. So, I've got to give them kudos. The match play, they've got it right.
Yeah. I can't say a lot more than that, but yeah, it's about time. It's good. And look,
Can I just say very quickly?
We have never in the past accused the PDC of any wrongdoing, and we never probably will do. But when you get those fairy tale storylines that sometimes the PDC draws can produce. You get them in any sport, you get them in any draw, but when you get them and you haven't seen that draw conducted live, you sometimes have to question, especially in an organisation that we've debated commercial versus sporting integrity in the past, is it legitimate? And doing it live just removes any of that doubt.
Yeah.
Can I just say very quickly? In the chat room, what's this housewives' choice thing? The housewives' choice. I want that as my title card now. Yeah, no, I totally agree, Barzy. It's a very important thing, especially when the World Championship draw is always done live. When your second biggest event of your year, the draw for that should be done live. There's no doubt about that. And the PDC did a fantastic job with it. Yeah, okay, there was a blooper with the wrong name, but who cares? And also the misspelling of Johnny. Yes.
Yeah, the misspelling of Johnny made me chuckle. But again, I'd rather that than what we do get at times. So look, I am all up for that. To be fair, since you've gone as well, Gob's now the Tungsten Toff as well. He's been rebranded as Tungsten Toff. You can be the housewife's choice, you know.
What are you?
Is it past 9 o'clock?
Who cares? Everyone fancies a washing machine.
The washing machine's still there, which is a big thing. I did wonder whether that would actually be that be live still.
Maybe for not much longer. Maybe from around the 9th of August, things may change.
Moving house?
I'm not moving. But there may be some new premises available to use. That's all I'm saying.
And I'm not relocating. I like it.
I've heard about this.
Yeah, but to be fair, Gob, you'll be driving soon, so it's fine.
You lot are gonna have to like the stream a bit more than if I'm gonna do that drive every week. Go on, tap it.
No, I wouldn't say every week.
Show me the money.
We're certainly going to try and do a couple of them in person, which would be good. But look, there's only one place to start. We'll touch on we'll come back to the Pro Tours. They're not important right now. what is important is that absolute bloodbath of a 32-man draw that is the Betfred World Matchplay. Nico's not going to have too many friends after this one, boys, is he?
No, and then he sat on social media going, I've never seen anything like that second quarter in my life, with some angry emojis. Nico, it was your fault, mate.
It was a bloodbath, wasn't it? Yes, Sam, this is released as a podcast as well, available on all your favourite providers. I'll edit it tonight and it will be out by tomorrow morning. So we're I just need to get the match play drawer up a second and we will. But look, standout ties, boys, as far as they go. Which one's your favourite before we dissect the quarters?
Can we just say the entire second quarter of the draw? Because that second quarter of the draw is genuinely brutal. Absolutely brutal. All over the gaff. You look at that second quarter of the draw. There you go. Thank you. MVG against Adrian Lewis. Joe Cullen against Eamon Hetta. James Wade against Martin Lukeman. Everyone says might be the weaker tie of the four, but Martin Lukeman in a great bit of form. And then the man to beat so far in 2022, Luke Humphreys against Nathan Aspinall. Any one of those four, take your pick. Genuinely, take your pick. I don't mind.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
For the first time ever, could we see a quarter of the draw played in the same session? Because that quarter of the draw is so good.
Yes.
Because we don't tend to get that, do we? We mix and match. A Sunday afternoon tends to be, with all due respect, you'll get one headliner, but those matches tend to be a little bit more drab. Could we see that second quarter on Monday night, for instance?
And
all the players get the same amount of rest. And we get an unbelievable session.
Yeah. Look, if you want me to be honest with you, I think the headliner for Sunday afternoon will be Dave Chisholm against Kim Hybrex. That's my gut feeling. Jose de Sousa against Gabe Clemens will open up Sunday afternoon. Maybe Dirk against Ryan Searle or Christoph against Stephen Bunting, maybe is the other games. But I think Chizzy will be the headline.
Sunday night. I think Dirk will be Sunday night for the chainsaw on a Sunday night.
Yeah, but
it's just not Sunday afternoon.
Definitely not. The chainsaw is not a Sunday afternoon walk on. I will concede that, especially if you've been out the previous evening.
You haven't got to be out. It's just not an afternoon tune.
Not really an evening tune, to be fair. Let's be frank about it.
No. So we will take each quarter as they come. We'll start with quarter one, where the defending champion, the world number one, and the world champion opens up. Peter Wright against Madders, Razma, Ratajski against Bunting, Johnny Clayton spelt right on this one against Roby John, and then Dimitri against Callan Ritz. We'll start at the top, boys. Wright versus Razma. Do any of us see this anything but a fairly one-sided affair?
You've got the awkwardness of Razma because he's just, you never know which part of the board he's going to play on to start, which just makes him a little bit tricky. He's there or thereabouts at Euro Tours at the minute and Pro Tours. You don't get a lot of walkover wins against Razma. You get a lot of close ones, 6-4s, 6-3s. He'll pick up legs. He'll frustrate you a little bit. He's not the quickest. He's got his little quirks about him. I still expect Peter Wright to come through over that distance. But given how poor Peter Wright has played so far through the first 7 months of this year, it is relatively high standards. It's a risk. And no matter who this opponent is, we'd be saying it's a risk to Peter Wright at the minute.
I'd say the one for me is that Razma's an absolute treble 19 merchant. We know this. And if he gets the treble 19s going, if he gets going on the 19s, he can give Peter Wright some big trouble. I still expect Wright to come through. Wouldn't be one-sided. I think 10-5, 10-6.
Yeah, 10-5 I can go with. I was surprised by Wright's choice of darts that he kept on for 2 days in a row. It's the slightly tapered one. But we didn't see the elements at all over the last 2 days.
He quarter final today, didn't he?
Yeah. Played well early, but kind of got worse as the day went on. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It started very, very well, but kind of got worse as the day went on. But yeah, no, I agree. Again, chat room, talk us through this first quarter. But yeah, I think, right, for me, I think this one's kind of intriguing. Ratajski against Bunting, because I don't think either are playing particularly well. We spoke about this during the race for the match play, that there were people on both halves of the draw that you'd want to get. And with the greatest of respects, both of these probably would have picked each other.
Yeah, I suspect so.
I'll be putting a little bit more respect on Bunting's name at the minute. My love affair with the parachute has fallen off a little bit. He's just.
I think Bunting was awful.
It took so long to pick up that Pro Tour last year. It was the last event, wasn't it? And look, Bunting's had runs here before that have kicked him on a little bit. I think he can handle the temperature of the room a little bit better. His action's just that little bit more free-flowing. And if he gets into his work early, I'm backing a seed exit here, unfortunately, for Ratajski.
Oh, no, I think both of them can win it, but I just don't think Bunting's played well recently.
He's had a couple of Euro Tour semi-finals, isn't he? Is Ratajski still a different animal on TV? Or have you realised he's not anymore?
He's just not played on TV this year, so I can't judge it. Mate, if he comes out and bashes him, then yeah. Where are you?
This could go either way. I'd still just about pick the seed. Will be tight, but I'd just about pick the seed. Do you know what? This is one this is a candidate for an extra legger, I think. Hopefully not on night one, but this is a candidate for an extra legger. I'm going to go with Ratajski just.
I am going to edge Ratajski, but again, I think both their actions have issues. Again, when they're both on, they're on. Ratajski, we all know the first dart God that we watched wasn't particularly smooth, but then I think Bunting's is as bad. The way he angles it into his hand, if his hand doesn't open quick enough, it causes issues because it's like angled Dan. So I think, again, if his hand's not open, if his fingers aren't opening quick enough, I think that causes him issues as well by dragging them low.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, and I kind of quite completely agree with Jar. I could quite easily see extra legs here, but I'm going to edge Ratajski. Match number 3, Johnny Clayton against Roby John. Now, after 2 days of the Pro Tour, myself and Gob were both slightly confused why Johnny hadn't cleared off home and rested up. However, after those 2 days, I can see why, because he played himself back into some form. Got to a final today. We saw the 105, the 106 averages coming back, Jar, and actually those 2 days may have done Johnny Clayton the world of good against a very, very good Roby John right now.
Yeah, I mean, Roby John's done what he needed to do this week. He had the run that he needed to on the Saturday when you and I were on, Barzy. Look, Clayton's fallen off the pedestal from 2021, but when you've won yourself, or you're tied with Peter Wright for the most titles won in a particular year, singles-wise at least, it's very difficult to keep that level up. Do you know, I think Clayton wins this one still. I think it's a comfortable enough win, 10-6. It's not going to be a classic. It's not going to be on. It's the old saying we used to say, boys. It's not going to be shown on Sky Sports Gold. However, I'm going to say Clayton is going to win this game. I think it will be reasonably comfortable.
What about we still say that now? It's not going to get shown on Sky Sports Gold when there's some stinkers.
That's good. At least that's stuff around.
Gob, what are you saying?
I don't know. If I'm in Camp Clayton, I am much, much better after the last 2 days he's just had, because it's just... I mean, and I didn't get to sit and watch the PDC stream as I was working all day and whatever, so I'd love to go back and watch it, because he's just looked lethargic for the last few weeks. That Premier League campaign, added to the World Series, has taken an awful lot out of Johnny Clayton, who was still working at one point through all that as well. Let's not forget that. Johnny Clayton does more than even these top pros. So it's ridiculous that he's been juggling all of that for so long. And when you look, he's just not been getting results. I don't think performance has been terrible. It's been closing out matches where he's averaging 94, 95, where for the last 18 months or so, Johnny finds an extra gear for a leg or two, close out that match and goes on a bit of a run. So, yeah, I feel much, much better about Johnny Clayton after seeing the last 2 days, especially if you're looking at him compared to the other players in the top 4 or 5 in the world right now, who are usually your big names for titles. MVG's not played since the wrist. Gezzy's not really there, and he took some days off. You're looking at Peter Wright, etc. So, look, I'm much, much better about Johnny right now. Roby is a threat, playing the darts of his life this year. Has TV stage experience as well, but I still got to go Clayton 10-6, 10-7.
Yeah, I agree. I just think that the thing that impressed me today most of all, Johnny's finishing, apart from in the final when he missed a few, looked back, he was pinging the 81s and the 65s and the 61s and things like that, which is, they're the ones he's been missing of late. That's the thing that I took heart from for Johnny, because his finishing's always been immaculate. It's always 1-2-1, pins the ball, point left. And that was back today. So, yeah, I think Johnny wins. I'm going to go somewhere around the 10-6, 10-7 mark as well. I just think that Clayton may be a bit of a danger again.
It sounds silly, but that first mini session is massive in this game, because I don't see Roby John winning from behind. But if he can get out ahead of Clayton and just start making Johnny think about how he's been playing for the last few months, he's got a chance. But if he's chasing 4-1, 5-2, etc. after the first session and a bit, Roby's in a world of trouble.
I agree. Now, this game fascinates me, because this could either be absolutely brilliant, absolutely horrific, or one-sided. Both ways. Because these two at the moment, it's genuinely all or nothing. They either play well or they're not playing well. So if they both play well, it will be great. If one plays well, it's going to be one-sided. And if they both have a mare, it's going to be horrific. I really can't call this one, because Dimitri, yes, he's won 2 TV tournaments, World Series events, whatever you want to call them, in a row, and looked very good in doing so. This week on the Pro Tour, not so good. Callum played 2 days and then had enough, cleared off home, wanted some rest. Again, Callum, when he's on, his A game is fabulous. I know he's in the chat room, or he spends a lot of time in the chat room if he's listening. But recently, there's been a lot of C game. The B game hasn't been there. It's been A or C. And that's not being critical. That's just facts of what we're looking at. So this game really intrigues me, Gob.
It does and it doesn't at the minute. I'd feel much better about Callum's chances this time last year, perhaps. He was making a few more waves at that point. The fact we haven't seen his A game anywhere near as frequently this season is a concern. Then, as you said, Dimmy's won 2 World Series events this year, and he just excels on a stage, right? And you're about to put him in front of a massive stage where he's defending winners' prize money this time. It's not defending champion, but it's an equal pressure of 2 years ago. You're about to take a massive hit on your rankings. And he just seems to stand up to it. And look, there's a few comments in the chat room, and I tend to agree with HX Duck as well. I have a feeling Dimmy will slow this game down, because if they get into a match where they both free flow and go at it, Dimmy is more than capable, but he also loses that match more often than if he slows the pace down and frustrates Callum a little bit.
Agreed. Jar, what are you thinking?
That's what I'm thinking. I think, honestly, Dimmy loves this event. It was where he broke his major duck. He made the final last year, playing arguably he was the second best player that week, behind an inspired world number one. I suspect this. I think he likes the Winter Gardens, Dimitri Vandenberg. I do think he likes the Winter Gardens. I think he likes this event because he doesn't have to worry about getting out in front. He's got time to address the situation if need be. He's, like I say, he's obviously defending with his money, but he's obviously got to try and get on there as well because runner-up last year. I think he wins this. I think he wins this quite comfortably. I'm not saying that Callan isn't a talented player. Of course he is, and I've spoken with Callan a number of years. I'm not saying that, but he'll be the first person to admit that he has not played his great game this year. And Dimmy's still coming in a bit of form. No matter what we say, 2 TV tournaments is better than winning none. So I think it will be 10-7, maybe 10-6, but I think Dimmy gets through, and we don't have a seed again in the first quarter of the draw.
Yeah, I agree. I think Dimitri gets his man just, but I think it will be a chore. I'm going to go 10-8 to Dimitri Vandenberg. What's that? Go back to the grind, boys. I think Johnny stayed on today. Back to the grind.
Yeah.
Incorrect, mate. I spoke to Johnny. He's actually on a 3-month sabbatical at the moment.
No. Anthony's saying he's got to go back to the grind. He's not saying he's going back to the grind. You think? Yeah.
Mate, to be fair though, he hasn't. I don't know if I'm going to say it now. I don't know if it's common knowledge or not, but he hasn't worked all year. He's been on a sabbatical since the World Championship.
Barzy. Anthony is saying that Anthony is going to go back to the grind. He just forgot to say got to go back to the grind.
Sorry, mate. I thought you were like Johnny going back to work. He's been on a sabbatical since the World.
It's been a long day.
It has been a long day staring at the screens. Right. We go to the bloodbath, the carnage, whatever you want to call it, of quarter number 2, where we will see Michael Van Gerwen against Adrian Lewis, Joe Cullen against Damon Heta, James Wade against Martin Lukeman, and Luke Humphreys against Nathan Aspinall. Wowzers.
This is ludicrous. This is actually ludicrous. This draw, I mean, we always say there's always one couple, maybe 2 or 3 parts of the draw you wouldn't want. Just good luck predicting this second part of the draw, because I genuinely don't know where I'm going with this. I haven't got a clue. You've got an MVG, obviously, that's coming back from a wrist injury. AD Lewis, that has won a Pro Tour title this week. Cullen, obviously, a dart away from the Premier League. Damon Heta at the top of the order of merit. James Wade was playing fabulously up until his injury. Martin Lukeman's been playing some great stuff. And Luke Humphreys, who is the man to beat in 2022, against a Nathan Aspinall that is starting to see a little bit of signs of resurgence.
It's interesting. We'll take game number 1 first. Michael Van Gerwen against Adrian Lewis. Now, there are question marks all around this game for so many different reasons. 1, how fit and how ready is Michael Van Gerwen? 2, Adrian Lewis looked... He says he's going to be all right, but it's all right saying it, but it's like a footballer when you haven't played coming back from injury. You say you're fit, but until you step on that pitch, how fit are you? You don't know, is the question. I'd have liked to have seen him play in a couple of these Pro Tours, if I'm being honest, to test it and to see. We haven't, so we are going in blind with Michael's form. Adrian, at times yesterday, looked sublime. He looked just unreal at times yesterday. So, look, the pace will suit both because they will get on with it, which is what I like. But in terms of match result, I genuinely don't know. I genuinely don't. If this had been pre-op, even injured, I'd say Michael wins. But AD will fancy his chances.
The one performance we have seen post-op was decent. But the concern is that there's been opportunities to play since, and he hasn't. Euro Tour and 4 Pro Tours, even if it's just 1 or 2 days on a Pro Tour, just put yourself through that process again. And that's concern for me. And again, it's a bit of a stinker of a draw from Adrian Lewis, because every time he has made a TV event in the last 2-3 years, while he's been trying to get back to the level that Adrian Lewis was capable of when he was one of the best players in the world and 2-time back-to-back world champion, he seems to just get kicked in the teeth every time he's knocking on the door to have a go at it. And this is just another example of that draw. And there will be a lot of attention around this one as well. He's not allowed to just go about his business quietly as Adrian Lewis, which is almost what he needs. I think we've got the same with Barney when he's made his comeback. We've got a Barney alarm, for Christ's sake, when we sit and stream live. Like, just let the man go and learn. Let the man build his way back up again until you're in that top 8, top 16 constant state of media worthiness, if you like, at that point. But the history that those players have got means you're always going to have one eye on them. And look, it's a stinker of a draw for both players, obviously, as all of this section is. Lewis does have a chance. Concerned with the heat, concerned with stamina. Not sure how often he's played over this distance in a while. It's been 6s and 8 yesterday to win a title. But he has a very, very good chance to cause an upset.
What are you thinking, Jar?
What's the record again? When was the last time AD beat him? Is it 10 games in a row, 11 games in a row that he's won?
It's something like that, yeah.
Records are there to be broken. And MVG's record recently in Blackpool has not been good. I appreciate he made the semi-finals last year, but the last couple of times in that on a match play, he hasn't wowed really since 2016. Sod it, go for it. I'll back the upset. I don't know if you call it an upset at the moment because of form, but in reality, I'll back the upset. I'll go extra legs though. I'll go extra legs. AD wins this extra legs.
The other concern I've got for Michael is even if he comes through this one, playing over a long format, it's how the wrist reacts the next day or the day after as well.
The problem is obviously the fact that, sorry mate, just a quick one. The fact that Gob mentioned earlier that obviously he played that game against Noppy and was all right. That was a best of 11, not best of 19, and then potentially 25.
That's what I mean. You know when you've been out a while and go and do some exercise or whatever, the next day your muscles ache and those muscles haven't been working recently. Coupled with surgery, even if he comes through this, the next day that wrist could be in absolute agony just through muscle memory and overuse. So look, there are many question marks. I think Michael just squeaks it. I'm going to go 10-8. But I can easily make a case for Adrian to win this.
Sure, it's like you've never been away, isn't it? It's like you've never been away, isn't it? Coming a mile away.
Yeah, death taxes. Michael Van Gerwen gets picked to win things by Phill Bars. Nothing's changed. The more things change, the more they stay the same.
Joey Cullen, Damon Heta. This for me, it is, and the seed's in trouble here for me. Jar, I think for me, Heta is the favourite going into this.
I don't know if he is because Cullen. Let's not forget that Cullen was a dart away, was a double 16 away from winning the Premier League on debut and doing a Glen Durham. Let's not forget this. The discussion about whether he should have been in there in the first place can be had, but this is not the right forum and right time to do so. I still think that there's something there at the minute from the Rockstar. I still think that there's enough in there to beat Heta. I'm not saying that Heta's not on form. Of course he is. There's a reason why he's right at the top of the World Matchplay race and the only player to have won 100 grand in order to qualify for it. However, I'd still back Cullen to come through and get the job done. And he's got to have a big match play this year. I mean, he's defending 15k, so he's defending second round money. And let's not forget, he has won a couple of Pro Tours as well this year. I'm still backing Cullen, but again, I'm going to go close. I'll say it's a 10-8 or an 11-9.
I was right. The bookies have Heta favourite.
Really?
Get on Cullen now.
Joe Cullen evens, Damon Heta 4-5.
Is that what our title sponsors bet, Fred?
It is.
Are you playing the game, Jar?
Sure.
Because last time you were on it, you didn't, you idiot.
Don't know what you're talking about, Gob. I always value our sponsors, in particular sponsors Betfred.
We haven't got this far yet, but everyone avoid Rob Cross. He has just been hit with the Lee Boys curse. Everyone run away. We all know what happens. Even if he's half the world away, he still cursed him.
Yeah.
Has boys predicted something? Definitely. Would it go wrong? Maybe.
I worry that Joe showed me absolutely nothing in these 4 Pro Tours. Nothing. I can't remember him averaging over 93. He may have done, but I can't remember. He doesn't stand out. I remember him losing with some real shoddy averages. But it was a poor block of Pro Tours. And yes, I know playing on the floor is different to playing on the stage, but you can still get confidence by playing on the floor, knowing your game is there and taking that onto a stage. But he's shown nothing, which is a worry for me.
Mm. 97, 98, early days. I will say, and this probably plays into the predictions hand actually, the players that beat him, especially in this heat at the minute, barring Brian McMahon, are just that little bit more methodical. There's a Joe Mernon loss in there. It's an Aspinall loss, but that was just the better one of his weekend.
Today he wasn't very good.
No, that was the Mernon loss today, and Ryan Joyce as well, 6-5. So they all just take the sting out of the game a little bit, and we all know how much more Joe Cullen relies on rhythm than a lot more players in the field because of his action being from muscle memory rather than having a set aim point and somewhere to reset it to, if you like. So that possibly plays into Heta's hands as well. I think we get extra legs in this one. And at that point, just because he's won title, he's won the Masters and close in the Premier League, etc., I'm going to shade Cullen in extra legs.
I think Heta gets his man here. I'm going to go Heta.
Are we having extra legs round 1? They didn't in a couple of years ago, did they? There was no extra legs round 1, but there was extra legs for.
Yeah, because last year, remember, the first 2 nights were still under stupid restrictions, and then at the twang of midnight on the Sunday, we went back to normal because that time difference made all the difference. So I think extra legs.
It did make all the difference, Barzi. Remember, Sunday night we couldn't go to Pot World, Monday night we did.
Nothing to see here. Nothing to see
Sorry,
here.
Dave, do not retest. Do we not retest?
Yeah, so, I think Heta just edges this one. This one intrigues me as well. It's your boy, Gob. It's James Wade against Martin Lukeman. Now, if this was on the floor, right now, I think Martin Lukeman's favourite on the floor. But Martin Lukeman's debut at the Winter Gardens is different. Look, right now, if you're asking me who's playing the better darts out of the two, I think Martin Lukeman is playing better than James Wade since James got ill. Before that, James was playing amazing. But since he got ill and taken to hospital in Germany, he's not hit the same heights. However, for me, that Winter Garden stage does funny things to people on debut, boys. And I think, for me, James gets his man here. Gob, what are you saying?
Yeah, look, I expect experience to come into play here. This is very, very similar to Roby John and Johnny Clayton. If Wadey goes clear in that first session, I don't expect Martin to come back at him because Wadey is just so solid on his own throw. You have to get after him early. You have to take your chances. And you have to get him under pressure as soon as you can, especially in leg play, because look, as much as his recent record at the match play has not been great, it is one of the tournaments that he prefers himself in comparison to set play in the World Championship, etc. He'll admit it. It's just what he prefers.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. Jar, what are you thinking?
If this wasn't a debut for Martin, I would say that this is going to be closer. But I think Wadey, we know what Wade will do. He'll hold in the first leg, break in the second leg, win the third with a 95 average and just hit 15 darters in hold. Cheers for coming. Shake hands, boys. 1-2-1 finish on the ball to win it 10-7.
Are you just saying that's how James Wade is just going to roll with it?
Some might say that, Barzy, yes.
But if Martin Lukeman, she could be electric.
that was a reach.
Yeah. And that's the end of Oasis reference for tonight.
I think Martin Lukeman will go well on debut, but I just think that Wadey gets his man. Now, this could be anything. Look, Luke Humphries is in electric form right now. However, the Asp over the last 4 days has shown he's back to somewhere near his best, somewhere near the Aspinall that can cause damage. Jar, what are you thinking?
His record at the match play, though, is garbage. I appreciate he made a quarter final last year, but the previous two years, he didn't win it. And Luke's in 5. I mean, look, okay, the Euro Tour, everyone says it is a floor title, but you're playing up on a big stage now. Playing on the biggest stage, You're playing in the PDC, you're playing on PDC TV, you're playing on DAZN. As long as he continues to play like he has been playing, Luke should win this game. It'll be close, but the only thing that might tip the balance in Aspinall's favour is the crowd. Stockport lad, only an hour up the road from Blackpool. There's always a lot of Nathan Aspinall fans in the crowd. I think Luke wins this. I'm going to go 10-8, but this has got the potential to go extra legs. But if Luke gets through this, might not be the only game he wins. Let's just put it that way.
What are you saying, Gob?
I just think they're both going to go at it. The two relatively young in their darting career, but with moderate levels of success in front of TV cameras, etc. at the minute. Both love 180. Both love a big finish and to let their opponent know about a big finish. And I think they'll just bounce off each other. I generally think that even if these boys average 90, 92, and it's an absolute scrap, they'll miss batches at similar times and it will be nip and tuck. No matter what level this game is played at, if they're both near each other, it's game of the first round, comfortably. because you just got two styles, two personalities that are just going to feed off each other and bounce off each other so much. This if you're a boxer, this in styles make a boxing fight. This is a boxing promoter's dream in darts.
Yeah, they're both going to give it some when they hit big finishes or 180s. They'll both get the crowd involved. Look, I can't wait. And this has Saturday night written all over it. This is a Saturday night at the Winter Gardens fight.
I'm not sure it is.
Contest.
I'm not sure it is. This might open the match play. I'm not sure, but it might be one they save for Monday night, I think.
Possibly.
Because obviously you've got Shaky playing on night one. That's how it works. But maybe it might be the opener. I don't know. I can't see Humphreys Aspinall and Wright Rasmussen being on the same night. So I'm going to say it's a Monday night.
Yeah, either way, this is a headliner. This headlines one of the nights for me. But who do I think wins it? I think Luke edges it just, but by the smallest of margins. I think it will be something fabulous that he takes out on the way, one break of throw, and it will be close. But look, it's just an absolute belter of a game, and I cannot wait. Section number 2. If I remember rightly, this time last year, the number 2 seed, then world number 1, didn't fly back into the country until Friday night, did he? Or Friday, because we were all like, this is a bit risky, getting to Blackpool in time.
Was he in Mallorca?
Judging by his Instagram story, he is somewhere Spanish right now as well.
If it works for him, then let him do it.
I agree. However, if you've got a private jet, with the state of European airports coming into the UK and vice versa, or at least fly on a Thursday this time, because I wouldn't be trusting flying in on a Friday this time around. I've got no issue with them going away and recharging, but just don't leave it that late, please. We're seeing flights and that cancelled all the way. Could you imagine the headline, Gezi defaults because of a cancelled flight?
That game's on Sunday night anyway, be ready.
But his Instagram story, when did he pull out? Friday was interesting. It said, feel good. The arm feels back to normal. Didn't go my way today, but I'm ready. We haven't heard him like that for a while.
Surprising, because we've heard a lot from his Instagram story. It's my pet hate of Gerwyn Price is that Instagram story. In case anybody's new to the show. Yeah, look, concerns about just make sure you get back. But they've done this often enough now, and there's less restrictions. Yeah, airports are messy, but he's got the means to be able to get here, there, and everywhere, and so he'll be all right. In terms of the game, I think this is 6 to 8 weeks too late for Martin Schindler. Done the good work to make sure he's there. Not convinced by form in the summer months. And with that, yes, he wins.
So you're so happy whenever Gerwyn Price wins as well, then?
And what?
You're happy whenever Gerwyn Price wins still? That's still a thing?
Yeah. Ecstatic. Because it means I get to talk about his Instagram story the next day.
To be fair, I like his Instagram story.
Take it off.
I'm a fan. It'll be interesting to see whether the glasses stay, because he played, was it Thursday in glasses? We don't know about Friday. The fact there was no picture.
Friday, Saturday, wasn't it?
Was it Friday, Saturday? I know. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, Friday
Yeah.
he played in glasses. Saturday we don't know. that's interesting. But yeah, I agree. I think Gezi has too much for Martin Schindler over this distance at the Winter Gardens. I think 10-5, somewhere around there. What are you thinking, Jar?
Yeah, I can't disagree. 10-4, 10-5 won't be. It will be comfortable. The wall will be knocked down by the Iceman. Simple as.
Oh, completely. This next one's intriguing. Dave Chisholm against Kim Hybrex. Now, if this was against anyone else, I'd say maybe Chizzy may be in a bit of bother. However, Kim Hybrex's record at the Winter Gardens is nothing short of horrific. I think he's won once in, is it 10 attempts, Gob? Something like that?
Yeah.
It is,
maybe 11 attempts. Him, Robert Thornton, and our draw conductor, actually, Paul Nicholson, all have absolutely terrible records at the Winter Gardens.
Correct.
Was that the one with Kim Hybrex? The game that he won, was that the one that started in the afternoon session and continued until midway through the evening session?
I can't. It was terrible. It wasn't great.
Yeah, it wasn't great. But yeah, that's his one victory at the Winter Gardens. Let's be fair. If you're David,
I've been big on Kim recently, and I think there's a spark to come from him. However, Chizzy's just been solid. I looked at him for the title today. The semis.
2018 Chizzy's was, and I will tell you who he beat. In the first round, he beat John Henderson 13-12.
So it was after the ridiculous game then that took about 17 hours.
Yeah, look. So, look, it's interesting that Chizzy's made a bit of an equipment swap as well that we noticed at this Pro Tour Gob, that he's using the moulded flight and stem like a lot are these days. Not something we see Chizzy do particularly, which I thought was interesting.
Surprised with Chizzy, because as someone who can drag their darts a little bit low like he can, I tend to do the same. That setup doesn't benefit that.
Yeah. But having said that, Gob, what do you think? I know you're big on Kim, but can you overlook the horrendous record?
I think so, because he's not been there for 4 years and his form is okay. There's been that gradual sign of improvement since he dropped a fair bit over the last couple of years. It's just started to creep back since last year, and now the payoff is coming back again when he's making TV events. And it's all about just producing that 2013, 2014 form with Kim, if we can see him get a little bit fired up. And he's another, a bit like A.D. Lewis, I think, who have been putting themselves in these situations to try and put themselves back on that top pedestal. Darryl Gurney, another as well, and falling at first hurdles in tight matches. They're not being blown away, but you're just concerned that record keeps continuing. However, Chizzy 10-7, just that record keeps continuing.
What are you saying, Jar?
I reckon this is the one where. No, I was going to say Kim finally wins it. No, I'll go Chizzy wins it purely because I think there'll be a lot of people cheering for the boy from St Helens on that Sunday afternoon. 10-7 again.
Oh, dearie me. We're going for a clean sweep, I agree. 10-7 Chizzy. Next one. Tell me this is a Sunday afternoon game without telling me it's a Sunday afternoon game. I'll go first. Jose de Souza takes on Gabriel Clemens.
Oh, tell me that's also the opening game on Sunday afternoon without telling me it's the opening game on Sunday afternoon. There's absolutely no way that this is not first up Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
I'm going to go. I don't mind saying this. I think Gabe wins this, but it won't be a pretty game. 10-8. Won't be pretty.
it won't be. I agree. It won't be pretty. There'll be a miscount. And I think Clemens gets his man. I've just seen nothing from Jose that says to me that old form is there. It's almost as if he came from nowhere to play well, and it's just gone again as quickly as it came. I just don't see where a win or a big win is coming from right now from Jose de Sousa. So I agree. I'm going Clement 10-6. What do you think, Gob?
Jose. Oh.
Behave.
Yeah. Just. Not as comfortable as I was about to say, because I just realised there's fans watching, which is a little bit of concern for Jose, because all of his success is behind closed doors. And the more and more you look at events since, it's not been great. But I still think he's just got enough. Just something about Clemens that meant he hasn't pushed on to that top 16 that he gave himself the platform to do over the last couple of years. And I'm not sure he goes and beats Jose at this stage.
I think 6-5 is a very big price on Clemens.
Extremely
generous. Rob Cross, Chris Dobie. This should be a good game. However, I think I agree with Boise that Rob's one of the players that you don't really want to be playing right now. And he's in quite a nice little quarter. Look, Dobes for me is still a little bit short of where I think he could be right now. And Bobby's playing some good stuff. Very solid. Even when he's losing, he's averaging high 90s. We're not seeing those disasters come in Gob anymore like we used to. The action looks sorted. The release point looks on point at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen as much of him on TV as I'd like. Obviously, he wasn't in the Premier League, one of the more contentious decisions. I love Dobie's scoring power, but he needed to capitalise a little bit more on that last year, I think, when he was just consistently producing ton plus average after ton plus average and finding ways to drag his opponent up to that level as well. I don't quite see that happening here, but I just think Rob Cross is quietly going about his business this year. And as you said, he's in a nice part of the draw. We've seen him make a match play final. See him win it, didn't we? With his B game. His B game, for I'd say. And without being disrespectful, considering just how strong that second quarter of the draw is, looking at this third part of the draw, I think he could do that again or put himself into the last stages without having to turn up and expend an awful lot of energy in that part of the draw. So I'm going to go Rob Cross.
Are you agreeing, Jar?
We talk about records at the Winter Gardens. Dobie has played twice on that stage and failed to win. 3 times the charm, unfortunately, for Dobes, and we love Dobes.
I'm really looking forward to Dobie's walk-on, by the way. I forgot that bit.
No, you're not. Don't disagree. No, you're not. Because I'm not.
That's the thing. But he needs to do a Callum Riggs and just get a load of Sam Fender on. Sam Fender's the boy, by the way. Yeah, Cross wins this, and I think he wins it comfortably. 10-3, 10-4. Hang on a minute. I'm going to just check something. Didn't Rob Cross, in the year that he won the World Matchplay, did he not beat Chris Dobie in the first round? I think he did. Yes, he did. 10-3. Will scenes repeat themselves? Probably not, but it'd be a nice little storyline, wouldn't it?
Is someone going to open the Chamber of Secrets again?
Yes. I thought he played. I thought he played Dobie 2019 match.
Going into quarter number 4, Michael Smith, Andrew Gilding, Dirk van Dijvenbode, Ryan Searle, Gary Anderson, Daryl Gurney, and Danny Noppert, Brendan Dolan. Out of the non-seeds, Andrew Gilding after this block was the one that probably no one wanted. However, his TV record is not very good. So, although he's playing well on the floor, Jar, should Bully Boy have too much for him over this distance?
Potentially. I mean, everyone was putting Smith as as second or even favourite at one stage during this one. I mean, okay, he's made the first 2 ranking finals on the telly box of the year, if you class the Worlds as that one. But I just don't think this is going to be as easy as you think. Gilding's playing some really good stuff. He made another final on the Pro Tour. Again, got close, but Noppy beat him. I think Smith will just win it. But I think he could go extra legs. It's got the legs to go that far. It's got game. This game's got legs in it.
What are you thinking, Gob?
I'm thinking I won't be watching it.
He's not easy on the eye, is he? Bless him.
Oh, I despise it. No matter what he does at the hockey, I'm still so infuriated by the way he approaches the hockey that I just lose interest. And I appreciate everyone's got their own little niche things to do, but it's just awkward for the cameras. We've seen Eurotour have to use the opposite side when he's throwing, and that was spotter's nightmare, especially if you swap got cameras set up both sides. Yeah, I'm just not a fan of watching Andrew Gilding play darts, no matter the memes or the Dan Dawson love affair or social media's love of Andrew Gilding and a thumbs up. I can't sit and watch him play a match that is potentially 25 legs long.
To be fair, I'm with you. I don't enjoy watching Andrew Gilding play either. Look, again, he's played some incredible stuff over the last 4 days. But I'm with you. Do I enjoy watching him play? No. But are you?
I think Smith falls into the Callum Ridge category here as well. The pace will just not suit him. And look, there's been that extra level of maturity to Michael Smith. We've seen him go deep on TV. Winning that final weekend in the Premier League would have been a massive relief to him as well. Like I said, once up on that on that stage in front of cameras, despite Michael Smith's record in finals, etc., there's still a level of experience that Michael Smith has over Andrew Gilding, and I expect him to see that. So 10-7. Can
I just say very, very quickly, if it is going to be on a Sunday night, this Smith against Gilding game, Teresa makes a very good point. The heat on Sunday is going to be despicable. Andrew Gilding will look like Merv after that game against Gary Anderson. He'll be wetter than an otter's pocket walking off the stage.
Oh, he could melt. He could literally melt on that stage. There could just be a pile of that horrible dart shirt that he hasn't changed in 30 years. But I agree. I think Smith gets over the line 10-7. Dirk van Dijvenbode, Ryan Searle. I'm looking forward to this one. I really am. Dirk, hopefully he's partied out now. He went home to party, as he said in the interview, and then tried to backtrack.
Yeah, he's got things on, Bazzi.
But too late by then, Dirk. You've already told us you're going to party. Look, I think Ryan Searle is inconsistent at the moment. When he's good, he's very good. But not consistent enough for my liking at the moment. Jar, are you a chainsaw man or are you a heavy metal fan?
You know me, mate. I'm always been a fan of the chainsaw for a number of years, but I'm not sure. I think heavy metal might just do him here. And I'm not saying that. Dirk obviously has won a title and he's been playing well, but I think Ryan Searle does him here. And I think Ryan Searle wins this 10-7.
What are you saying, Gob?
Chainsaw.
I think Dirk gets his man just. But again, this has a potential for extra legs as well. Yeah, look, I think it'll be interesting, but I think Dirt just now. A much talked about seed. Everyone was talking about this man, Gary Anderson against Daryl Gurney. Now, Gob, Ando's your boy. Can you make any case here for Gary Anderson?
Yeah. He's Kando. He can turn up and does what he wants.
Kando. Oh, sorry. Can I just point
He's
out
stuck
Barzy?
2 Ring World Championship darts. We all know he's just more than capable of going berserk on them. His scoring will be okay. Look, he's not going to go up and be down the middle straight consistently, but I'm not even sure he was that when he was at the very, very top of his game. He used to bang in the 180s, but they were littered with some very, very rogue darts, even at the very, very top of Gary Anderson's game. If you go back and watch it, it wasn't ton 40, just batter you with raw, consistent scoring power. It was, well, I'll fire in a 180 to make up for the fact I've just scored 52 by hitting the big 12. Do you know what I mean? That sort of stuff. Not quite as extreme as that, but that's just the example. And this is all on Gando's finishing. All on Gando's finishing. Gurney will need to be aggressive and fire himself up for it. And we all know Gary plays better when that happens as well. So I'm expecting a few fireworks at this point as well. If they both go in placid, then they don't deliver. And it's whoever fires himself up, gets themselves going, and ultimately is better. Sounds stupid in a darts game. It's a bit Michael Owen, whoever scores the most goals wins. But double percentage will be massive in this one. Absolutely massive. And I think I'm just going to go Gando. Because he's defending big money from here as well. If I remember correctly.
Oh, huge money. Huge.
Yeah.
Massive money. Where are you, Jar? Are you on the all aboard the Flying Scotsman or hurtling aboard Super Chin?
I'll never forget 2019, Barzy, when a certain manager, when Gurney, 15, was it 15-8, 15-9 up, about to go and make the Savannah the Matchplay?
And then we saw him heading towards Blackpool Pier.
Correct. His manager was, I've never seen a man so deflated walking out of venue. And I don't think he goes that far. I think Gando wins this because, like Gob always says, if Gando turns up, he can do what he likes. The man made a run to a World Matchplay final 2 years ago and a World Championship final just because he was angry. In the same way he made a World Championship semi-final this year. A man, just, if he wants to turn up, he can do. He'll just do what he likes. And here's the thing, Barzy. If he goes and wins this title, I don't think he will, by the way, but if he does go and win this title, that is the World Championship money covered. 200 grand for the winner this year. That's the World Championship money from 2021 covered.
Does that mean we need to ask Wayne to insult him on Twitter between now and Friday?
Yes. Do you know what? I reckon this game could be another one that opens. I think Gando against Gurney could open.
Nope.
You think the next one?
No. See a Ratajski Bunting opening match.
Mm.
Chizzy Hybrids.
Nah, Chizzy Hybrids is Sunday afternoon headliner. Got that written all over it.
Yeah, look, I'm interested. I'm pleased that Gary's gone back to the right equipment because the Code Noirs just never, ever worked for me. They looked unbalanced. With the machining on them, they can say 24 gram and whatever, but with that stupid Code machining, they never, ever sat right for me, God. They always looked lopsided.
You know for well he can rock up with his Dream Boy Phase 2s or his Johnny Clayton looking ones at the match play because they're what he picked up as he left the door. So let's not get too hung up on the equipment. I do like the two ring World Championship straight barrel, straight up darts, and hopefully that's what he comes back with. And that is the right equipment for Gary and always will be. But let's not get too carried away that that's what he's now using for the rest of his career.
okay, if he uses that equipment, I'll be happy. And if he uses that equipment, I think he wins. I think it will be close. Because I think Daryl's actually played really well recently. But I just think that we may see a moment of magic from Gando to win it 10-8. We may see a 1-5-6 or something stupid along those lines. I'm going to go Anderson but I can make a big case for Daryl Gurney as well. First round tie, Danny Noppert against Brendan Dolan. Now, the pace these two play at, this has Sunday afternoon written all over it. This joins the Sunday afternoon club game for me. Not because they're bad players, but styles make darts games. And these two paired together aren't stylistically good.
I could see opening Saturday night to get it out of the way. Do you get what I mean? It's one of those games that you go, okay.
Yeah, possibly.
Don't forget, UK Open champion. Put some respect on the man's name.
It's a fabulous player, just tough watch at times.
Noppy wins again, by the way. C wins. Brennan's playing well, obviously won the title today, but I think Noppy wins 10-6.
What are you saying, Gob?
Yeah, I got Noppy as well. Pretty steady. 10-6, 10-5.
Yeah, I think Noppy will have too much as well. Right, you know what comes next. I would like your 2022 World Matchplay semi-finalists and chat room, come and get involved. I would like your semi-finalists to start with. Who are you going for from the 4 quarters of the draw? Do you need time to look, or have you picked?
I picked 2, not the others.
Let me just squid them down.
You can go first, then. Go.
Nah, bugger that. We bought Jar back. Throw him under the bus.
Is that how it works? Well, I've got. Hang on. Sorry, but I still haven't picked 2 of mine yet, and you have, so you go.
Don't be mad. Be better. Hurry up.
Just get on with it. You can say.
Section 1, Peter Wright. Section 2, Luke Humphreys. Section 3, Rob Cross. Section 4, Michael Smith.
No! Incorrect.
I did not finish mine, idiot.
What was that?
Nothing, darling.
Exactly. Incorrect on 2 of them. Dimitri Van den Berg will beat Johnny Clayton and then beat Peter Wright to win the quarter. Get a revenge.
He's not getting for them back to back, and that's why I've done that.
He is. Because remember, Clayton's only 11 games. If it was 2 best of 16, first 16s, I'd agree with you. But Clayton would be first to 11. So I'm going with Dimmy to avenge last year's win against final against Peter Wright. I'm with you on Luke. I think he gets the job done. My third one is going to be Gerwin Price. And I'm going to say incorrect on 3, actually. No, I'm not. No, I'm with you. I'm torn between Smith and Noppy. I'll go Smith just about. So I've gone Dimmy, Luke Humphreys, Gerwin Price, and Michael Smith.
You are all incorrect.
Let me guess. Who wins Section 2?
Michael Van Gerwen, and Michael Van
Van Gerwen wins.
No. Incorrect. Section number 1.
Johnny Clayton.
Johnny Clayton will come through. Section number 2, I agree with you both, just because I think he's Humphreys. I am going Humphreys. I may change my mind after seeing Michael play in round 1, but if you're asking me right now, I have to go Humphreys because I just don't know. There are too many question marks. After seeing MVG play, I may change my mind, but right now, I have to go Humphreys. Section number 2, I agree with one of you, and I agree with Jar. I am going to go in Price. And it's section number 4, where I am really, really torn between my heart and my head. Because...
Your head saying nothing?
No. My head is saying Michael Smith.
Oh.
My heart and the old romantic in me
Gando
is saying Gando.
Ooh.
And I don't know
why.
Doing
between screaming and this?
And I shouldn't, because I can't back it up with anything. But I just look at Gary Anderson and think it could be the one.
How is that any different from anything you've ever said?
Yeah, all right, fair enough.
There is a distinct lack of backing it up with anything Phill Bard's ever predicted in his life.
Yeah. It's normally just MVG wins.
I'm going Gary Anderson to make a World Matchplay semi-final. My head is saying Michael Smith makes the semi-final. My head is saying it. But I'm going to go with Gary Anderson will beat Michael Smith in the quarter-final.
Harvey Marsh's got it completely correct. Dimmy v Humphreys, Gezi v Michael Smith. Bang on. Congrats, Harvey. Put your quarter bets on now.
So, chat room, from the ones you've picked, from your selections, I would like your winner and your runner-up for the Betfred World Matchplay. Jar, you're going first this time.
Luke Humphreys beats Dimitri Vandenberg in the semi-final. Gerwin Price beats Michael Smith in the semi-final. And Luke Humphreys beats Gerwin Price in the final. We have a first-time televised major winner. Luke Humphreys will be the 2022 Betfred World Matchplay winner.
Talking about having absolutely bugger all to back anything up with. How on earth have you just put Gezi in the final?
Because it's Gezi. Gezi's been playing garbage for most of the year. I think we can all accept that, right? But I'm backing him to come through and finally produce some magic in Blackpool.
To be fair,
because his Instagram next to the pool says his arm feels right when he's had 7 cocktails. Yes, good job.
Yes.
to be fair, I've just realised what I've done, and I'll call it in a minute. But Gob, you're going first.
What have you just done? Oh, you just put Gary Gezi on the semi-final stage.
I've got Ando and Gezi playing each other in the semi-final without even realising.
Here we go. Here we go.
You're about to put Gezi in a final as well. What are you two playing at?
God, what are you saying?
I'm saying you're a pair of idiots.
Yeah, nothing's changed then.
Oh.
Hang on. Desperate time. I'm just about to phone Lee Boyce for a bit of sanity.
That's the first time that's ever been said on this station.
Oh.
And love. I love you, Lee, because you're definitely either listening back or watching back. We'll get a message about 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon just going, arseholes. Yeah, brilliant. Sorry, mate. The final will be Luke Humphreys after he beats Peter Wright. against Michael Smith after he beats Rob Cross.
So which one wins?
I don't want to say it because when we say it, it doesn't happen, but I think it's happening.
No,
Smith to beat
it's not. No. Wrong.
Right, I am going Johnny to beat Luke in an epic semi-final. And in the final, Johnny will play.
You're not. Don't do it. Don't do it.
I really want to do it, but I don't know if I can bring myself to.
No.
No, I
This is
can't.
what
I
happens
can't
when
bring
gingers get 10 minutes of sunshine.
We've both been sat inside most of the week, Gob, while you've just been swanning it off and not even bothering to turn up on the Pro Tools.
I really want to say it, and I don't know if I can bring myself to do it.
Say the name, Phill.
Gary Anderson makes the World Matchplay final.
Jesus, what? Please tell me you're not beginning to win.
No, I'm not. I think Johnny. If it happens, I think Johnny would beat him. I'm going Johnny to beat Gary Anderson in the World Matchplay final. Johnny Clayton will be the 2022 Betfred World Matchplay champion.
If I'd asked you this question on Thursday, what would you have said?
Not Johnny Clayton. I just think that I think he comes through. And there are too many inconsistencies around Peter Wright at the moment for me to say. If you'd have asked me this time last year in the same draw, I said Peter Wright would walk it. But there are too many inconsistencies around the Peter Wright game that even if he plays well one game, I'm not convinced he can do it night after night like he did last year.
What you're about to say, there's only one. Let's remind ourselves just quickly about last year's World Matchplay for Peter Wright. The man averaged the 5th highest tournament average in history. I think the 4th most 180s across the week in tournament history. Was only behind once, and that was the opening leg against Noppy.
Against that Noppy, yeah. But he's just not in that form this year. He hasn't got that aura around him. So I tell you what, and Rose has just said it in the chat room as well. If anyone's going to win this out of nowhere, it will be Gary. I completely agree that if anyone can just from absolutely nowhere produce, it would be Gary.
Got it.
And look, and to be fair, I've gone with my heart, but I could quite look. My head says Michael Smith comes through quarter 3, but I've just gone with my gut, and I'm just going to go with Gary. But what an absolute insane. That would be insane. And like I said, at the moment I can't back Michael, but after the first one, we'll know more. But right now, no. So, chat room, that's the Betfred World Matchplay as we look forward to the hallowed Winter Gardens. Weekly Darts Casters in gone right gilding final. Interesting choice, boys. Look, like I've just said, look, for me, there are too many inconsistencies around Peter Wright right now. 1 minute it's brilliant, the next minute he drops off a cliff. There's just too many yo-yos for me, and I think he'll get caught out on one of the downward games. I think he comes through Rasma and retires, but I just think that quarterfinals he may get done by Johnny or Dimitri. But
is the Fallout Bar making a return this week or not?
It is. The Fallout Bar will be back.
Awesome. I will not be on that because specifically on the first night of the match play, I will be at 2020 Finals Day at least 15, 20 points in like I was last year, Gold.
Yeah, I'm not sure he's hosting that one because I will be considerably drunk as well.
He's not coming with me. He's decided to bottle it.
I'd show you up anyway.
So that
Incorrect.
is the
You're all.
the Betfred World Matchplay. Whilst we're on the matchplay, gents, let's talk about the ones who missed out and where do they go from here. Because missing the matchplay when you're defending ranking money and stuff like that can be tough. Just gonna get me darts room, get me thing up.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Ross Smith, Vincent van der Voort. Vinny made a quarter final 2020 at the match play.
Yeah, because it was behind closed doors. He was the only person that wanted it to return to Milton Keynes
every year.
Yeah, he's the only person that wants
it.
Bulldoze.
Yeah, he played Duzzer in that quarter final, and he had that running with Kirk, didn't he? Now I remember. Yeah, obviously that's huge for him. Ricky Evans as well, missing out on first round money. Whitlock as well. Don't forget, that's a huge result for him because he made a quarter final against, he beat MBG along the way, so that's big ranking money gone. Simon Whitlock is in huge danger this year of dropping like a stone. Can we just acknowledge this for a second, please? Because Whitlock, let's not forget, he's got a semi-final to defend for the Grand Slam after that epic against MBG. So
I think Whitlock in
particular. Was that, sorry?
He has qualified for that already, which is an advantage.
Yes, but he's got to make a big run.
To be fair, he doesn't drop as far as what I thought he would. On the tour card race, as it stands, he drops to 37.
Okay.
That's not.
He's been striking every TV event on the runs as well.
Yeah.
He's not in any of them, the Grand Prix, etc. But those races, he's within striking distance. He just needs to go away, put into performance on the Euro Tour, and stay consistent. And look, Sam Whitlock is one of those you can't kill. It's like bullet tooth Tony. He just keeps coming back at you. In terms of those that missed out, though, Whitlock is one of those that you are a little bit more concerned about. Your Whitlock, your Mentor Sudovic, Mervyn King, Ian White, because these are players that their time won't really come again. This is getting towards end of careers for them in terms of age and experience and level and dedication required to be a PDC Tour Pro at the minute. Your likes of Ross Smith, still young enough, Ricky Evans, Keane Barry, Scott Williams got plenty of time, Ryan Meikle, Jim Williams, Josh Rock, etc. They're not of massive concern. It would have been an advantage for them to be there, yes, 10 grand first round prize money or whatever it is, and the experience of being up there and the chance of pushing on the ranking list, but they will have more opportunities and they will have more time at the top level of this game. The one that really stands out is the fact that in his second year now, Barney hasn't made it.
Really?
And
are we really going down that road?
Well, yeah, because I feel this is the time to go down that road. Because look, I was very passionately against his return, but the minute he did return and win a Pro Tour, it got to the point where you had to give him the benefit and say perhaps he's here for the right reasons. Yes, would he have come back over COVID? No, whatever. But at that point, he was sort of you had to give him the benefit of the doubt that he was going to be a little bit more dedicated. Stop mugging fans off by saying, I'm going to put all the effort in and lose him first round in the next TV event and drop in like a stone. But this is 18 months now into Barney's return with a tour card. He won that first Pro Tour, hasn't really stepped up at any level since. And at what point do you have to look at it and go, as perhaps John Lowe has recently, and go, actually, this is quite legacy damaging now?
Well, it's quite interesting that he's in every exhibition against Taylor. That's all I'm going to say on the issue.
That's still a major seller. That's always going to be part and parcel. A lot of these players are playing exhibitions.
I know.
The players that we're saying are absolutely knackered are up to Germany and wherever else on a Friday night before a Euro tour, right? Exhibitions are part of that money, and as long as Barney's playing at the top level or is in the public eye line, you're going to be able to sell that game. It's just the fact that Barney hasn't been able to get to a significant TV event in 18 months.
By the world.
Yeah. At which point you look at him, I don't think he's any risk of losing his tour card, but it's just a little bit of mediocrity for a 5-time former champion of the world that was at the top of the game for an incredibly long time, albeit we can debate the relative levels of success. We can debate this. 5 world titles, 4 in the BDO, etc. We've done this before, but in terms of the legacy that is associated with Raymond van Barneveld, not making this match play after 18 months has to be a little bit of concern for fans who remember him as a player in every single TV event. He wasn't as clinical in those TV events. He didn't win anywhere near as many TV titles as he should have. Him and Adrian Lewis are in that category massively. And I don't think that's up for argument. They've achieved a lot, but they could have achieved a hell of a lot more given the levels of ability that Barney and Lewis have. But Lewis has got another 10 to 15 years at this.
Yes,
he's got time on his hands to rebuild it.
Sorry, let's just remind ourselves on this question, as we always used to say on the old show together. When was the last time that Raymond van Barneveld won a TV ranking title? Ranking.
Long time ago. Desert Classic. Pairs World Champion a few times.
It doesn't exist anymore. 2007.
I'm not debating that because every time that we've ever had debates or discussed Barney's legacy as he was retiring in that season and as he started that comeback, we've been over this. That wasn't the point of this conversation. It's at this point, given that the level that an awful lot of darts fans hold Barney in that regard, at what point are you concerned that he's not making the match play after 18 months on tour?
His legacy will always be there, won't it? Because, as I've always said, he started the second era of the PDC. He started the proper growth era when he moved over and had that year in 2006 where he won the UK, reached final of the UK Open, won the UK Open, beat Taylor in that, played in that amazing World Grand Prix match, and then obviously the greatest game of darts ever played in 2007. That set the PDC alight. What the biggest problem for Barney has always been is that, as I've always said, he didn't capture that. Yeah, he won a Grand Slam, he won a Premier League, and he's won a World Cup of Darts multiple times, being having his hand held by Michael van Gerwen. But the problem with that is that Barney, for me, has the legacy is there because of the way that he grew the sport in Europe. It's not actually, if you look at it, does Barney make people's top 5 of all time? No, in my opinion, he shouldn't make the top 5 of all time. Not for the amount of titles that he's won, and not for what he could have achieved. He could have achieved so much more in the PDC in particular.
Luke, the Grand Slam wasn't ranked in 2012, mate. It's an interesting one. Look, I don't think, after 2 years back, or 18 months, he had 2 years to qualify, he hasn't been good enough. And that's the simple fact. He hasn't been good enough to qualify for these tournaments. Do I think he'd have come back if COVID hadn't have been around? No, I don't.
No,
because he would have been earning an absolute fortune. But look, that's another story. But yeah, it's an interesting one. Also, I almost forgot, but didn't. For the first time...
Just very quickly about Merv. This is the first time that Merv, okay, he didn't qualify in 2020. This is the first time that Merv has not qualified for the Winter Gardens since he moved.
Yeah.
Is that a sign?
He's starting to look old, bless him. His movement on the stage now isn't the same. And look, I love Merv to bits, but he's starting to look old and fragile. I don't think we'll see Merv King at the top level for too much longer. Maybe 4 or 5 years tops. He just looks old and fragile now, like the body is giving up.
Getting the
He's
invite.
still got back pain, and we know he doesn't have back pain, which is a concern, because if there is no back pain there, why are you walking like that?
Exactly that. Yeah. Right, exactly that.
Very, very
Right.
easy to forget just how old some of the players on tour are. Darts is a sport where you can play into your 50s. Phill Taylor proved it. You've got Peter Wright as an over 50 world champion, Simon Whitlock, Gary Anderson, Mervyn King, Barney.
Steve Beaton.
The list goes on, right? Robert Thornton. You look at some of the players currently playing in the seniors. They could go again. Richie Burnett decided to go again. All right, it's not quite worked out for him, but he's gone and got his tour card back. Vanessa was the same.
All I'll
Couldn't
say,
do that as a
Gob,
footballer.
yeah. All I'll say is, Gob, get him the invite ready. That's all I'll say.
Also, at the Winter Gardens this year, we have the very first Women's World Match Play to look forward to on the Sunday afternoon. Lisa Ashton, Fallon Sherrock, Lorraine Winstanley, Aileen de Graaf, Laura Turner, Rhiannon Griffiths, Katie Sheldon, and Chloe O'Brien will compete. Now, I've just looked on the wiki page. I'm not sure if these best of legs are right. I've just checked the only press release we've had from the PDC, and it doesn't mention what the format is. So I'm not sure if this is right or not. It's saying best of 7 quarterfinals, best of 9, best of 11. I'm not sure if that's right, but there is nothing in the PDC press release to say
best of 11 quarterfinals. It would have done, you know what it does for a Euro tour: best of 11, best of 13, best of 15. That's what I'd have thought.
I don't know is the answer, because it's not there. But we'll take the games in order. So the quarterfinals will be Lisa Ashton against Chloe O'Brien, Eileen de Graaf against Laura Turner, Fallon Sherrock against Katie Sheldon, Lorraine Winstanley against Rhiannon Griffiths. Now, again, we don't know if they're going to go in. We've had no order. Week last we managed best 11 all the way through. I thought that as well, but I spoke to Webby briefly, and he thought maybe best of 9 all the way through. So we're trying to get some.
Because they've got to get it done in that session. But if they're going all the way for that first round to be first 4, no. That's not a showcase. Well, that's video crap.
Yeah, but also as well, they don't actually have to get the session done that quickly. The final's scheduled to start at 9. The final this year's World Match Play starting at 9 o'clock in the evening, BST. They don't have to get the game. They don't have to get the women's match play done that early.
Let me tell you. It doesn't say. I thought I was going to look to see what time, because normally it has tickets. So I don't know. But we'll go through the games. First of all, do we think they'll go in chronological order? In draw bracket order?
Yeah.
If so, Lisa Ashton will open against Chloe O'Brien. 2 ladies at very different ends of their career. Lisa Ashton has done it and won everything. Chloe just starting out. Do we think that do we think that Lisa will have too much?
It is best of 7, confirmed on the PDC website.
Jesus.
That means best of 9, not best of 11.
What they do on the women's series, isn't it?
No, it's 9 o'clock start. The men's final.
Yeah, actually, it does say that. Best of 7, best of 9, best of 11. Cheers, Andrew. Should have looked a bit harder. But yeah, they are. I think they're going Ashton O'Brien, Eileen de Graaf, Laura Turner, Fallon against Katie, Lorraine against Rhiannon, I suspect.
Yeah, draw bracket order.
Yeah.
So, match number 1. Although Chloe did amazing to get there, is this a bridge too far against the 4 times women's world champion, Gob?
I think so. Look, Lisa has that experience, that scoring prowess. The fact it is only first to 4 at that stage, as staggering as that is. just gives the upsets that little bit more of an opportunity to occur. But at that point, I still think Lisa's pretty comfortable. We saw her play in Harlem last weekend before. I don't know what day it is anymore. Last weekend, thought she was steady without being spectacular. That first win on stage clearly lifted a cloud over her. Still think she's got the game to just go absolutely mental on somebody, and I'm waiting to see it. But I think she'll beat Chloe. I think she'll just give herself that many more opportunities that she needs.
You agreeing, Joe?
Yeah, this different. Lisa Ashton's in a different planet, living on a different planet to everybody else in women's darts currently right now.
Eileen de Graaf against Laura Turner. Now, for me, in the last women's series, Eileen was player of the weekend. I thought she was sensational. Yeah. Absolutely superb. And for me, I think she gets the better of Laura Turner here, Jar.
I don't disagree with you. Did the women's series pretty much the entire way through for you with Ubazi on that weekend. And I agree, Eileen de Graaf is the women in form right now. And I think it'll be a great semi-final between her and Lisa.
You agreeing, Gob, or are you going the other way on this one?
I don't know. I don't disagree with the fact that Aileen showed some great form. Statistically, though, I think you'll look back and see Lorraine Winstanley had a better weekend. Just went under the radar a little bit. I also think if there was a football local team presentation award style thing for most improved player, you'd have to be looking at Laura Turner. Her A game hasn't gone up drastically, but her B game and just a consistent level she's brought to the women's series this year has been so much higher than anything we've seen from her in the past. However, I am concerned that it doesn't translate to the TV stage and the cameras, and those lakeside experiences might just scar a little bit where Aileen does have the more relative success. So I'm going to say Aileen as well, but I think this one will be close.
Fallon Sherrick against Katie Sheldon. Katie beat Fallon, I can't remember which one it was, but produced a bullseye finish with Fallon sat on a double. But again, I just think with the lights on and with the cameras on, I think Fallon has this one. I think the whole experience may get to Katie a little bit, not having played in anything like this before, Jar.
Yeah, look, I think Katie's playing some really good stuff at the moment, but there's a different level. And I know everyone, she's the most scrutinised darts player in the world, Fallon Sherrick, but I think that having that experience of being on the stage in Copenhagen and New York and Amsterdam will help her. I think she wins.
I agree. Gob, are you in the upset camp?
If there is going to be an upset, I think this game is the most likely to produce it. Fallon's stage game is exceptional. Do not get me wrong. There is a different kind of pressure on Fallon in this event because she's going in as the hunted, not the hunter. The fans will be ambivalent about both. In fact, at this point, it would not surprise me if Katie Sheldon gets a little bit more support because of the way that certain branches of darts media have used Fallon and her image over the last 6 months. And I just don't think Katie Sheldon's got any fear in her. She's young enough. She's got no battle scars. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say this, but I've heard a little bit of information as when the seeds were getting there on the final day that Katie said she'd rather play Fallon than Lisa on stage, because if that is the order they're going to play in as well, number 3, you know all the promo is going to be on Fallon for that headline. That third game is your premier spot in any session at that point. There's going to be a lot of build-up, a lot of media attention on Fallon, and it just allows Kate to just go about her game. And if Fallon misses doubles like she did on the World Series, because I don't think her scoring was terrible, it was double percentage an awful lot of the time, and she had the same issues early on in a lot of the women's series. If she does not hit that outer ring with the capability that we know she's got, I genuinely can see Katie causing an upset.
I just think that the situation may get to Katie a little bit. The whole thing, like we said with Martin Lukeman, going and playing on that Winter Garden stage and everything like that may just get to her. I don't think it'll be easy for Fallon, but I think Fallon comes through. Lorraine Winstanley against Rhiannon Griffiths. Looking forward to this one because I think it's a very, very competitive game. Look, we all know with Lorraine's action, it's all or nothing. When it's on, it is very good, as we saw in the last block of Women's Series. But when it's off, that lack of follow-through means the darts are jerky and stabby as they leave her hand. That's not against Lorraine, that's just the laws of watching darts and how they leave their hands. If you haven't got a good follow-through, they spray. God. So, for me, this game is all on Lorraine, whether the action is on or off.
Yeah, I agree, but it's just been on far more often than it's been off recently.
Yeah, agreed. I don't disagree.
Comfortably being number 3 on the tour. Comfortably. She's been involved in a couple of battles with Jane Densley. At one point, they were a lot closer than obviously Jade not making this event in the end. But yeah, she's just been head and shoulders above the rest. There's been Lisa, there's been Fallon, and then there's been Lorraine out on her own pretty much at that point. And whilst I do agree that it can be a little bit ropey first round, I think Lorraine will come through it.
Are you agreeing, Jar?
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think Lorraine has been playing some outstanding stuff, and she will make it through to a semi-final. I don't see any upsets.
So, how do we see this playing out from the semi-finals? Do we get the final everyone wants, maybe expects? Do we think it will be Fallon against Lisa in the final? Jar's shaking his head, which says to me, you think Aileen beats Lisa? Definitely. Am I close? Or do you think Lorraine beats Fallon?
Lisa beats Aileen and Lorraine beats Fallon, and Lisa Ashton beats Lorraine Winstanley to be crowned the 2022 inaugural Betfred Women's Matchplay Champion. I think Lorraine has been playing Fallon quite regularly on the tour and been beating her regularly at semi-final stages, and I think that they've shared the spoils a little bit. And I just think that maybe the pressure might get to Fallon slightly a little bit. Lorraine, in that aspect, has got a free run there. Not many people are expecting her to go and beat Fallon up on that stage. And every one of them, of those women, appreciate people playing on stages and all the rest of it, but no one has ever played on that stage before. No one in that field. And things can do, and pressure and televised action can do stuff, Barzi, and I think that Fallon might just fall a little bit quite a way in this game. We're close, but I think Lorraine beats her, and then I think Lisa beats Lorraine in the final.
What are you saying, God?
What you saying? What I want to happen and what I think will happen are two very, very different things. I would love to see Fallon win this event. Just because of the way that she's been treated in the last 6 to 7 months. The things that aren't her fault. The way that other organisations have just jumped onto a bandwagon and flogged it, for want of a better word. But I think Lisa Ashton lives this time.
Are you going for the marquee final, or does one of them miss out? Or does...
Take your time, love. We got all night.
I will do. Look, I know I spent a while saying earlier why I think Katie could beat Fallon and have that upset. Whether or not it happens is a different matter. I'm going to say we get that dream final. I'm going to say Lisa edges it.
I agree. I think it will be the dream final. I think Fallon wins it for the reason I think Lisa is a much better player earlier on in the day. At the seniors, in particular, Gob, she looked knackered on the Sunday after the 2 games on the Saturday.
But it's a short day, though. It's not a full day in the women's series. It's a short day.
But it's the prep that goes into it. We spoke about the men's, that we haven't got the long range forecast. But again, if it's hot, that is zapping on that stage.
I agree.
It is.
And
but you are forgetting that Lisa's a local.
Yeah.
And I think she'll get an awful lot of support up there.
I should get a massive amount of support. Huge amount of support. But sometimes when you're knackered and you've got nothing in the tank, doesn't matter how much support you've got, it can be difficult. And I just looked at the forecast quite interestingly. It's basically low to mid 20s throughout the whole week in Blackpool. Apart from that first Sunday and Monday of 25, which if you've never been to the Winter Gardens before and are going for the first time, that'll feel like 75 degrees. Wear shorts. Yeah. I just think that come the end of a long day, Fallon may have a little bit more in the tank. And look, they're both amazing players. And look, for the women's game, that's the final we all want. And we want the pair of them to go at it hammer and tongs. And it to be an absolute epic final. But I think Fallon nicks it just. But it'll be interesting. Right, 10 minutes to go. We're not going to try and cram anything else in, as in looking at this, looking at that. We're just going to open up the chat room. Let's just do 10 minutes of questions, boys. Get them in.
Just say very, very quickly, it was lovely to be back on stream doing Pro Tour Live this weekend. Very enjoyable. Very enjoyable way to spend a Saturday. To make sure that I didn't get sunburned. Lovely way of spending 6 hours.
Yeah.
Let's quickly fire through a few things, Phil. Obviously, people have watched Pro Tour Live with us over the last few days. Let's just remind you, Dirk picked up the title on Friday and then disappeared to party in Holland. Followed very, very quickly by his World Cup partner, Danny Noppert, beating Andrew Gilden in the final. Adrian Lewis then beat Boris Koltsov in the final. Pretty interesting to see Boris turn up for the first time this year that he's been allowed to under a neutral flag and go all the way to the final. How amusing would that have been on the weekend when a former Russian athlete goes and wins the women's singles at Wimbledon, despite them all being banned from that as well. And then Brendan Dolan beat Johnny Clayton in today's final earlier on. There were 2 Euro tours on Thursday. I'm not sure I can be bothered to read out 48 names, but
it's hard not to qualify for these Euro tours now. I don't like it where so many qualify. I did laugh as well.
I don't like this Euro tour. The issue I've got is 8 qualifiers for the Grand Slam, but that's a debate for when that tournament rolls around.
Who's the Russian tennis player that couldn't play that's quite good? Is it Medvedev or whatever he's called?
Medvedev.
I liked his Instagram post when, as the men's finals on, of him watching the Formula One Grand Prix, as if to say 2 fingers to the. I did chuckle at that. I have to say, some good social media bants.
Also, Gob, you haven't had a chance to say anything about the late great John Gwynn on this channel. Barzy and I got the chance to say this on Saturday, and we'll open up the floor to you. And if you've got any Gwynny memories yourself in the chat room, I think it'd be nice because, obviously, great commentator that passed away on Saturday. Gob, this is for you. You got a couple of minutes. Go on.
Wasn't expecting that moment, but I had the pleasure of meeting and having a conversation with John at the Seniors World Championship, and I didn't realise just how short a man he is. John Gwynn is almost pocket size, right? but he just has this voice, this booming voice that can lift up any room. You know where he is immediately. You can hear him come in. He was in a soundproof commentary box 15 yards away from where our press table was based, and you could still hear him, right? It's soundproof, and John Gwynn is breaking through that soundproof barrier. He's only 20 yards behind the stage. I dread to think if the players could hear it as well. But fantastic commentator, one of a few voices that allowed darts to grow, I think, that made it viewable on TV. You've got Sid, you've got Dave, and Gwynny was very much part of that crew. And look, when you have Sid and Dave, who have for a long, long time been renowned as the top duo, to go in, join those two, and alternate with them so seamlessly that nobody. Look, I know we didn't have social media in that age, but to be able to drop in and out of that without complaint. There's nobody sat watching going, oh, I much preferred Sid or I much preferred Dave. I used to hate one or the other. The fact that those three could just interchange without complaint from anybody just tells you how good we had it in terms of darts broadcasting back then. They were amazing. They complemented each other. They got on so well. They all had their little perks, their little knacks of commentary. And yeah, it was a pleasure to be able to meet John in February. Obviously, the thoughts are with his family and friends at this time. It's been a long battle with cancer, one that I sense a little bit of relief, perhaps, that he is no longer struggling and in pain. But that doesn't make the loss any easier to take at that moment. But he was fantastic.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
That commentary box in the sky is very good at the moment, isn't it? Dave Lanning, Sid Waddell, and John Gwynn with Bruce Spenley refereeing, and Eric and Jockey playing up on stage together tonight. Probably it's not a bad darts game in the sky to have.
No, I agree. Harry says England Open stream opinions. The actual picture was all right. The audio, on the other hand, was absolutely horrific.
I think that sums it up. One of the teams who was meant to be down there for commentary, they couldn't get that working. The audio quality on the things they did have wasn't great. Disappointing, because actually normally the England Darts Organisation streams are pretty good. They tend to be quite watchable. We don't tend to get exposure to WDF events or those sort of events on that side of it, as often as we do PDC events. And look, not everybody's got the financial budget of Loop or Matchroom as they are now, or whatever else. But yeah, look, it was disappointing because actually it was an intriguing set of matches, and I just found it unwatchable. I couldn't watch any of it.
Yeah, just the audio was horrific. Glenn says, I think Bo is better than both. I can't say what I want to without hanging people out to dry. Could be better than both, I agree. But has issues.
Yeah. Sam asked, why isn't Bo in the match play? Simple. She didn't turn up for the women's series. She's chasing ranking points, deep, darkest Romania.
Yeah. Just didn't bother going. Laura says John called in. John's, as in the Jokers, 2019 World Master, stuck with me. Yeah, just an absolute presence. You knew where he was at all times. Very tiny man, however, huge voice. Luke says, do you think Gary will win a major this year? If anyone wins one that we don't, if anyone wins one that we don't think he can, it will end up Gary.
Do you reckon? Okay, then here's a question: do you reckon that we're seeing the back end of Gary Anderson's career? As in, do we think in the next couple of years? Do you think he's going to be Romeo done?
Yeah, and the reason I say that is not because of he can't. Look, Gary's been the same for a few years now. but there's only so long you can get away with not playing on the Euro Tour with the amount of money involved in it and not slide. And I think he'll get caught out with that very, very soon. The fact he stayed in the top 10 and not played a Euro Tour for 5 years is nothing short of remarkable.
Top 4? Don't forget that 2018. He basically just lived in the top 4 after winning loads of events.
But yeah, the fact that he hasn't played on the Euro Tour and done it is remarkable for me. But yeah, I think we're seeing the twilight. Sadly, because he is one of the all-time greats.
Could you imagine doing anything at the match? Sorry, go on.
Could you imagine if he liked darts?
Oh God, he'd have been the best player ever picked up a dart.
Yeah, if he actually liked it.
Go on, Jarleth. Matthew says that they're doing anything at the match play for Gwynny. I'd imagine so. Sky are normally very good about that sort of stuff.
Well, and he was in the PDC Hall of Fame as well. So I would imagine so, yes. Who's your top 2 choices for retirement after the Worlds?
Beaten.
Through choice or...
Yeah, look, I don't think does from PDC. Look, I think that there's a few that I think may choose to hand back their cards or lose their cards that will just go and do their own thing, playing the seniors events and things like that, playing the live league. Duzzer and Beaten, perhaps.
Steve West.
Yeah, Westy.
Yeah.
He's not keeping his tour card, and I don't think he's going to have to get one back in a minute.
Agreed. Right, last couple from us. We were 2 minutes late starting, so we will do 2 minutes, and then we are going to wrap up because it's been a long, long day. We'll still give you 2 hours, everyone. Don't worry about that.
And I'm off to watch the highlights of the England ladies because they've just put up a match play score. Close enough. 8-0. 6-0 at half time.
They're actually be coming home for the first time.
They did a pro on a game that had a lot of media build-up in which the Norway manager went, England are under pressure.
And also as well, not being funny, but like didn't half the people trying to get down to the Amex couldn't get there because of the trains?
Yeah.
Good Lord.
They've just played Jamie Caven at the match play.
Well.
Turned
up without going. Apparently, John Arnorisa went absolutely in on them on TalkSport, I think.
Really? I love talk. Right.
Yeah, and also as well, if you are out and about
with the rest of our legends currently on tour.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say very quickly. Very quickly, if you are out and about, TalkSport are doing every session. No, not every session. The only session they're not doing is Sunday afternoon because of the golf.
Yeah.
They're doing every other session of the match play live on the radio. So if you are out and about in the evenings, have a listen. Darts on the radio does work. Danter, Nace, Nico, Mark Wilson do a cracking job. Matt Gubbins, Abby Davis do a cracking job. So have a listen to that.
They got any other channel because they've got 1 and 2.
Euros, isn't it? Women's Euros, isn't it? Might be, yeah.
Yeah. Daniel, the schedule will be out in the next few days. Obviously, the draw was only done late tonight. PDC after the 8s was tomorrow. Yeah, so tomorrow, Wednesday morning, the latest. By the time they get it all sorted. Right, boys, I'll tell you what, the 2 hours have absolutely flown by tonight, and I've loved every minute of it. It's been a long day.
More than I care to announce.
But it's been a damn good day, boys. It's been a damn good 4 days. The race for the Betfred World Matchplay is done. The road to the match play is set. Life's good.
You excited for Friday afternoon and the trip up the M6, Barzy?
Friday afternoon?
Friday morning, sorry.
Oh, yeah, Friday morning.
Yeah, are you excited?
Can't wait. Can't wait.
I will say this. I'm very, 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 very upset that currently right now that I will not be going for the first time since 2016. Very upset. But life's a bitch.
Can you not wing an afternoon one day during the week and come up for a session, for an evening session?
Well, the thing is that like I could go up on the 22nd on the Friday night. I could, but then I've got to be out the door early doors because I've got to go to Sheffield on Saturday morning because I'm doing swimming announcing.
Or get a B&B in Blackpool, stay the night, and go straight from Blackpool to Sheffield.
That's what I'm saying. So it's one of those that I've got to get to Sheffield on Saturday morning. It's a massive job. It's a 2-hour car drive. Something God doesn't know about, obviously.
2 hours? That's a local one. What are you on about, man?
2 hours to get from Blackpool to Sheffield. Ridiculous.
Laura says, so sick of darts. Had Miss Maisie doing something normal now for 4 days. Maisie loves it. I love the fact that kids are skipping school to listen to us. It's very surreal.
No, stop encouraging that. Go to school, Maisie.
But everyone, thank you very much for your continued support over the last 4 days. It means the world to us. It really does. The fact that most of you have been here all day with online darts is truly amazing. Remember, we are at the Betfred World Matchplay with everything covered. The Fallout Bar returns website, we have it all covered for you. It's been great to have Jar back involved this weekend, and he's loved every minute of it as well, which is always good. Gob's been superb in the background, putting polls and all that up. He couldn't show his face because obviously his boss would know he's not working then, but doing stuff in the background was an absolute joy. It's been superb. Thank you very much for your continued support. We have been Online Darts. We will see you on Friday for the preview. We're going to get the preview up on YouTube for the Betfred World Matchplay. All the action starts Saturday. Boys, that is us signing out for the night. Absolute pleasure. And we'll see you all very, very soon.